And here we are. It's time to get started with our yard prep. We're going to get ready to go with our first preseason game of the season. The Miami Dolphins are in Chicago facing off against the Chicago Bears. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of folks getting ready to come on in here, so we're going to get some stuff happening. So just so everybody knows, this is actually brought to you by Thrive. Thrive Fantasy is a brand new thing that we've got going on here. There's basically you fill in, you put in, they will match your deposit. So you'll be able to just hop in there. You'll be able to follow the link in the description. All that good stuff is in there. And I'm sure that once Kai and everybody gets back in here, we'll be able to give a much better sponsor than that. But I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into everything we've got going on here. So, again, the Miami Dolphins are facing off against the Chicago Bears in Chicago. We're not sure how much we're going to get out of Tua Tagovailoa, if anything, as of yet. But I suspect he'll play maybe a quarter at least, I think, because we got to at least get his feet wet a little bit here. We're going to get a lot of Justin Fields, so that's going to be exciting. The Miami Dolphins are going to have their depth tested by Justin Fields. They said they basically announced that the rookie is going to be playing a lot, so he's definitely not somebody to be trifled with. We saw what he can do with all the highlights that he was doing in training camp. So the secondary is going to be tested, so Noah Igbenogany, good chance for him to go ahead and get a chance to shine. You're going to see the likes of Terrell Bonds, going to see Jalen Askew, going to see Nick Needham some, I imagine. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to see these guys play. Probably a little bit of Javon Holland as well, because he is also facing off. Just going to go ahead and address this for Mike Lowry. No reason for Tua to play today. I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like we need to get him at least some preseason. Again, the whole argument from last year was that we were going to sit him down and he would not be playing that season, or so we thought. And so the idea is that now he has an opportunity to get the full off-season experience, if you will. He's going to be getting a chance to do training camp. Now he's going to get a chance to do some preseason. You have to be willing to throw him into the fire at some point to give him a chance to get acclimated to real game experience again. This is going to be the first time we're going to see him on a fully healed season. We're going to get a chance to see him actually function in a real game setting for the first time since last season. And this is the new Tua, the Tua that's been lighting up the Miami Dolphins secondary in training camp this whole time. And I'm looking forward to actually seeing what he can do. I imagine he won't be in there long. Again, Jacoby Brissett will eventually pop in here, and he'll start throwing the football a little bit. Then we'll see some of Reed Sinnett. Not necessarily looking forward to that part of it, but we're going to be going ahead and get that going. I am going to be getting set up with some more folks in here very soon. It's going to be a lot of fun. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and bring in some other folks here. I know that Jacob Michelle is wanting to pop in here a little bit, so I'm going to see if I can get him in here. So Mike Lowry, again, wanting to comment, Tua has nothing to prove in a preseason game. That means nothing. Okay, so it's not that there's nothing. It's not about proving anything, Mike. You got to understand what the concept is here. This is about setting him up for a situation where he's going to be able to get acclimated to actual NFL game experience right now. I would imagine that, yes, James Grant, that Tua will get some snaps. You have to be willing to let him get acclimated. Even every starter, even way back, even with the Tannehill years and all those other players and quarterbacks that we had, there were going to be opportunities to let them at least get in a drive or two, just to remember it's like, hey, we got to get him acclimated too. So Tua is no exception to the rule. Yes, Ryan, it's not a matter of proving anything. We have new pieces on offense that Tua needs game reps with. Exactly, precisely. I'm not looking for Tua to prove anything. I'm not looking for Tua to do anything as far as trying to see if he's worthy of being the NFL quarterback that we want him to be. Of course, I feel that he is. There's nothing about proving himself. This is about just getting acclimated and getting himself back into gear. So we've got most of the gang already getting set up here. I know that Kai is getting all of his equipment set up, so they'll be popping in very shortly. So for those of you who are looking to listen to them do their thing, they'll be popping in very shortly. I'm just kind of holding down the fort for the time being. If anybody else has any comments they want to give, feel free to do so. I'll be more than happy to go ahead and give some talking here. So just so you know, I'm just setting things up. So Ryan, dude can throw 5 interceptions today for all I care. Make the mistakes now. Well, I don't want him to necessarily throw 5 interceptions. If he does, I will be a little concerned. But I understand the point that you're trying to make. It's just that's a little bit of a drastic point to make. So Justin Herbert has new weapons. Joe Burrow has new weapons. A lot of starting QBs have new weapons that aren't playing in the first preseason game. Okay, but Burrow is coming off a massive injury. Herbert is already he's already Jesus reincarnated in on earth again. So as far as I'm concerned, again, Tua is the Tua situation from day one has been a very unique situation from start to finish. So first he was drafted and the understanding was he wasn't going to play. Then he came back earlier than we thought. And now, he's going to play, but as Ryan Fitzpatrick's backup. Then Ryan Fitzpatrick gets benched for Tua. Tua does good in some games, not so good in some others. And now we're back to, he wasn't completely healthy. So again, it's all a completely unique experience. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I actually wrote so there are some players that we need to keep an eye on throughout this game. I wrote an article about it on 5 Reasons Sports. You can check it out afterwards if you want to. One of the ones that I chose, I'm going to go ahead and give you this one. Larnell Coleman, a tackle, rookie 7th round pick. As far as I'm concerned, he did a decent, okay job in training camp, held off Vince Beagle for a little bit before things kind of went sour. But again, he's a project kind of player, but considering the circumstances with the Miami Dolphins offensive line, he needs to be able to show that he's got something to offer, because right now the Miami Dolphins offensive line for what seems to be the 20th year in a row is in flux. So the ability to see if Coleman can actually hold back some of these Bears defensive linemen, that would be an excellent way of showing that we've actually got some hope going on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and motion to Kai. It's like, Kai, if you're looking for the capture card, it's in my backpack. So anyway, so another player so he just needs some reps and then take him out to get used to the NFL defense. Yes, exactly. So basically, I just want to see him get in some reps in there, throw maybe a drive, maybe 2, maybe even if they let him play a whole quarter, I wouldn't be opposed to that either, because again, he's not going to be on the field the entire 15 minutes of the quarter. So there will be an opportunity for that. So, Mike is making the argument. So if Tua gets rolled up on or injured due to a player, would it be worth it? Okay, listen, that's the problem, is that we can't play scared anymore. He is not injured anymore. That was the scared part was last season. The scared part was, he might get hurt again last season. Now he's just any other NFL quarterback that he needs to get his reps in. There's a lot of starters out there that are going to get some reps in. So you can name all these ones that are not getting reps. I can name a bunch that are. So Tua is probably going to be one of the ones that does. Again, you can't assume the worst, because if you assume the worst during the preseason, you're going to assume the worst during the regular season. You're basically going to be in panic mode the entire time. You cannot roll with that. You have to be willing to let him try, let him get acclimated. All right. So Island Canes, Tua has nothing to prove. We're being objective. What has he proved? Okay. So the question is, so that depends on how you're defining what proved means. If you are saying that he hasn't proved he's a franchise quarterback yet, okay, I guess you could make that argument. Does he have anything to prove as far as, is he going to be the starting quarterback? No, he's going to be the starting quarterback. He's not competing with Jacoby Brissett or anything like that. None of that is happening whatsoever. So you don't have to worry about that so much. And as far as, again, this is where the definition of prove comes in. As far as I'm concerned, he has proven that he's worthy of being the starter. He's done so in practice. I've watched him do his thing. It's very, very, very impressive what he's managed to do against what, again, is supposed to be one of the league's top defenses. Now that Xavier Howard is back, Byron Jones is still there. You're going to have the likes of Eric Rowe holding down tight ends again. Javon Holland is proving to be a massive ball hawk. So that's something to be excited about. And of course, that defensive front is scary as all get out. Like, no matter where you are in the rotation, there's somebody who can probably kick your tail. So you get Adam Butler in there, you get Christian Wilkins in there, you get Zach Sealer in there, John Jenkins in there. I mean, just name it. That whole defensive front is scary, and Tua has still managed to light up the defense in practice. So that's not something that we've been able to say about our Dolphins quarterbacks over the past several seasons. So looking at Ryan Tannehill, looking at Ryan Fitzpatrick, they did not light up the defense. Tua is doing the one thing that we haven't seen out of a Dolphins quarterback in training camp for the longest time. So a lot to be excited about. As far as I'm concerned, he's proven that he can be the starter. Now, is he going to be the Dolphins franchise quarterback for the next decade and a half? That we haven't seen yet. So But that has to come in actual playing real games. So again, if he actually does well against this Bears defense, then maybe we can start looking like, oh, so it's not just the Dolphins defense where he knows everything that's coming, that he can make these plays. So go ahead, Jay Flat, Guardian CEO. He needs reps. No preseason last year. Actually has very little NFL experience. Yes, compared to other rookie quarterbacks, yes, he did have a very little NFL experience. But again, this is where things get exciting. So we're going to finally get to see that happening. I'm really excited to get that going. We're going to have our guys popping in very shortly. I see Juan getting all set up on his laptop here. That's my spare charger. It's the other pocket. Hold on. As soon as Juan gets in here, you're getting into the StreamYard, Juan? All right, so perfect. Juan will be joining in just a second. Yeah, it's that pocket. So those are all the wires for the capture card and stuff. So you just pick the one the big wires. Well, I didn't know which one, so I just picked them all just in case. All right, so Juan's popping in just about now. Aha, there he is. Mute your laptop. All right, so we're now bringing Juan in, who, by the way, is just a few feet away from me. So welcome, Juan, to the show. Kai is still getting set up, so we're almost there. Juan, how do you feel about today's game?
I feel good, bro. I'm excited. We got a lot of young players who are going to get a lot of chance to play. I think I just saw recently X is going to be out. Byron's going to be out. Ogba's going to be out. There's a couple others that I saw that were going to be out. So I'm just excited to see how it's going to look.
And what do you think about the whole Tua situation that we're having this discussion about? Do you feel like he needs to play, or do you feel like it's not worth the risk?
No, I think he does need to play. I mean, he does need to get in sync a little bit more with his offensive line, with the receivers that he is going to have out there. I have to double check. I don't know if Devontae's going to be out there. We know Fuller's not going to be out there, though. I saw Albert Wilson wasn't going to be out there. So it's going to be, a lot of Week 17 plus Waddle out there. So it's just going to be him trying to get some chemistry with those guys, and really just trying to see more or less like if the running game can get it going. If we can see Myles Gaskin maybe bust one or two, maybe see Ahmed get over the get around the edge and just make some plays.
All right, so I have my producer telling me to take off the headphones because the echo is horrible. I'm going to hope and pray that using my laptop mic will be better, so let's see what happens.
Is that better?
All right, so I have no idea if it's working right now. Can you tell me if it's working or not? Like, I need somebody to let me know if we're all good here, because now we're using my default laptop microphone, and I don't know if that's any better or not. Still an echo, he says. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know what else I can do, man. Go inside the house. Well, I can go inside the house. Can I go inside the house? Because I'm currently using a good friend of ours at the 5 Reasons Sports Network. So he's Matthew Perdomo, by the way. You can hunt him down. I'm just going to go ahead and go into the house. And this will be where I'll do the show from this moment forward, at least for the time being.
No,
all right. So anyway, so we'll just go ahead and get right back to where we started. All right. So, Juan, let's get a little bit more on players that you want to see beyond Tua Tagovailoa. Obviously, there's a lot of players we need to keep an eye on, such as I mentioned Larnell Coleman earlier. I'm looking at the likes of also Noah Igbenogany. Who's somebody that you want to keep an eye on as we go?
For sure, Lynn Bowden Jr. Need him for sure. Trill Williams, I'm kind of curious about what he's going to be able to do. Royal. Solomon is another player who's going to get a lot of chance to get some play. Brennan Scarlett and Javon Holland, obviously that's the guy we probably all got our eyes on to see what he's going to be able to do, especially with Jalen Phillips not being able to go ahead and play.
I'm currently not getting any audio out of my laptop, so just keep talking. Name some other players that you're wanting to look at. You got to keep in mind, folks, that this is kind of an experiment that we're running here, so we're a little bit on the uncertain side. So we're just kind of rolling with it as we go. I'm just
I'll just highlight again Trill Williams. It's just he for me has been the guy, like all camp that I've gone, all the practices that I've been able to go to. He's always been the first guy out there in practice. Absolutely, noticeable for just a fan. So let alone I'm sure the coaches are keeping an eye on that. And being able to see if he can actually put it together. You know, he's somebody who's a big-bodied guy. He can play cornerback, so it's a DB. So we know how Brian Flores feels about DBs. And especially with Byron and both X not playing tonight, going to give him a shot. I think he needs his headphones.
So I'm gonna go get my headset back because when I unplugged the headset, all the audio stopped working. So
yeah, and then also
you're
Solomon.
Able to hear me, but I can't hear a thing that Juan is saying. So we're just gonna put this back on. Oh, my precious.
We got you back, Lewis.
All right, let's see if that works. Hello, can you hear me again?
I can hear you, bro. You hear us?
All right, let's do this. And we're back. Okay, so yes.
Cool.
So, yeah, plugging in the headset made it work again. I hope the echo is back and everybody. Yeah. Everyone needs a headset. I only have one, Manny. I only have one.
Listen, all I know is that there's one less preseason game, right? So I'm sorry. Tua needs to play more than 2 series or 3. I listen, you are playing up against a defense that at least the front lines can be kind of difficult. I want to see him right out of the gate and see how he does. And 2-3 series to me is not enough. That's all I'll say.
All right. So I mean that's coming from an Eagles fan. So obviously there's a lot of thoughts in there that are very, very basically neutral on the whole thing. So this is coming from the mindset of, hey, guess what? We need to let this quarterback play a little bit. And why does Tua need to build chemistry with the third string? Because he's not playing with the third string receivers, man.
And if we're being honest, the first and second string are injury prone, so we might be here a couple times throughout the season. So,
and that's the other thing is that Devontae Parker injury prone, Albert Wilson a little bit injury prone, Will Fuller not even playing and injury prone. And also Preston Williams on the PUP list. So, there's going to be times throughout the season, I imagine, where Tua's going to be like wondering who he's throwing to week to week. And that's probably why we brought back Isaiah Ford, as much as it drives me up a wall that we have Isaiah Ford again.
Hey, but he's been balling, though. I'll give him some credit. This camp, he's been balling.
Listen, you know who else has been balling? Jakeem Grant, but you're not going to give him no props.
Well, no, we know what his deal is. He's a Hall of Famer from March till August 31st.
But he's been balling. You can't say that. See, if you're going to give Ford credit in you're going to give Ford credit in training camp, you have to give Grant in 2.
Yeah, we'll give him some credit.
Okay, thank you. So Jakeem Grant, Jalen. Thank you, Manny, backing me up. Okay, so Jalen Waddle, Jakeem Grant, Isaiah Ford, Robert Foster's going to get some playing in there.
Bowden Jr.
I know you love you some Lynn Bowden Jr. But this is going to be his chance to show out because right now he has done nothing. He has done nothing in training camp so far. It has been wholly unimpressive.
He's been a ghost. He's been Casper for sure.
All right. So just out of curiosity now, before we wrap this thing up, what exactly are you going to be foreseeing for this preseason game? How do you think this is all going to go?
I don't think Tua is going to get more than maybe like 10 snaps, if that. I think it's going to be something very calculated. They're going to want to get him in and out because the offensive line hasn't really gelled. We're not really sure where everybody's going to really go ultimately and where they're going to finish up. So I think it's more of like a trial thing, and just I think we'll probably even see more run than pass. I would love to say here and say that we're going to see Tua have a 30-plus yard completion to shut everybody up, but it's baby steps, and we will get those plays, and it will come. But I think we're going to foresee more of the running game with Miles and Ahmed and Brown and Dokes too.
All right, so actually, Jared Dokes is one of the guys I said to keep an eye on because I imagine they won't let Gaskin play much. They probably won't let Malcolm Brown play much. So Dokes, Jordan Scarlett. Also, we're going to get some Patrick Laird in there as well. So all these guys are going to be White Lightning, my guy right there. The guy who gets so little credit, even though every time he gets the ball, he does something with it.
He does something positive. Yes, that's fair.
He does something positive every single time. All right, so we're just about ready to wrap this up. My prediction is that Miami will ultimately come out on top, but that really hinges on how well the Dolphins defense handles Justin Fields. Because let's be honest, again, Justin Fields is he's no slouch. He's no slouch. He's somebody that we need to be worried about, because a lot of people were saying that there are a lot of people saying that Dalton does not deserve to be the starter. It should be Justin Fields from the get-go. So that has to account for something. So my ultimate score prediction is going to be something along
score prediction.
I'm going to do score prediction. Why not, man? Why not?
I guess, yeah.
We got to get warmed. Yeah. It's our preseason too.
Facts.
Because we got to get ready. This is where we can't work out all the bugs, figure out how we're going to do this whole show thing. This is 5 Reasons Yard Prep preseason too. So my ultimate score for the day is going to be something along the lines of 20-17. It's not going to be very high scoring because, again, it's a bunch of backups. So I don't foresee them doing a whole lot, but I do see them coming out on top. Maybe the Dolphins come up to a quick score early, because Tua versus Andy Dalton, I'll take Tua.
Yeah, I think I'll go like 19 to like 14, like that the Dolphins winning. We'll see, though. Justin Fields is going to get a lot of playing time, so we'll see how that goes and if our backups can actually handle it,
All right. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We will be streaming throughout the game to kind of get an idea of how it's all going to go down. Stay tuned, because right now, once the game gets started, we will be going in and out between commercials to go ahead and commentate on everything that's going on. What is going on with my wall art? You have to ask Matthew Perdomo, who is giving us his house for the day. That's not my art. So just ask him about it. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Again, in between games, we will be getting started. So just stay tuned right here on the 5 Reasons Sports YouTube channel. Alrighty, folks. So here we go. We're actually going to go ahead. Quick change of plans. We're actually going to be going ahead and talking through the first quarter for you guys. So we'll have Juan on in just a moment. We're going to have other folks coming in as we go on. So Tua is, of course, going first. They ended up getting the ball first. So we're going to get to see what is going on. So we're going to get to see what this young quarterback out of Alabama can do after a full season of actually being able to be the starter is going to be very exciting, I think. So, and for those of you who are watching at home, it is actually on CBS. Ryan Sprovirio, thank you very much for your donation for the $3.05, the 305. I see that. Cheers to a new season indeed. So we got Tua going on. Jakeem Grant is on the field, and it's going to be a handoff. Very first thing. All right, so very interesting that they're going to have Malcolm Brown be the first guy that they're going to hand the ball off to. So I'm wondering if Myles Gaskin is actually going to get much playing time. They have Jalen Waddle out there as well. Looks like we got Kai fixing everything up at last. So we're going to go ahead and add this to the stream. I'll remove myself, and we'll get that going. All right. That's because it probably froze. Hello, hello. Can anybody hear us?
They should be able to now.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get right back to it. Very sorry.
It's preseason for everybody.
It's preseason for everybody, including us. It's preseason for everybody, including us. So the other thing, that first offensive drive, not exactly wow-worthy, not exactly the excitement that we've been hoping for during training camp with Tua Tagovailoa. So we're gonna hope that things are a little bit better this time around.
Yeah.
Interesting that Jakeem Grant was in with the starting unit very first try. Again, that just kind of goes to show where Grant is on the pecking order right now. So Waddle, Grant, probably we're going to get some Robert Foster in there too. Of course, the actual starters, Wilson, Parker, Will Fuller, they're not in due to injury. Alan Hearns has been with the second team this whole time. Yeah. So we're going to get right back to it. Game is back on. We will return shortly. Just All right, folks, we are back, and oh boy, the lighting could use some work. Kat, can you set up your like flashlight or something?
There's already too much.
There's already, what do you mean there's already too much? There we
There you
go.
go.
There we go. Let there be light. All right. So Miami Dolphins went ahead and they got down to the goal line, and a beautiful throw by Tua to Mike Gesicki open in the downfield. And quite frankly, that stiff arm that Gesicki put on Alec Ogletree, that was something spectacular. I just wish that they could have gotten that touchdown. Like they decided a quick toss to Hollins got them right down to like the 2-yard line, and then they went with 2 straight run plays after that went absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
So I want to know, what do you think of that call, Kai, or Juan too? Because is Kai's mic even? Is you going to be able to be heard over there, Kai?
Probably not really. I mean, it can pick up a lot, but it's just because there's a bunch of other shit.
We need to all smush in together, just be like all in one shot here.
I'll come by eventually. I've been trying to make this work for an hour, so I'm gonna show up for a second.
Go get you some croquetas. I brought you some.
Hey, my dog with the croquetas. But I don't know. You tell me how you think about Malcolm Brown. I liked how he was finishing a lot of runs moving forward.
No, Malcolm Brown showed a lot of oomph. The thing is that there wasn't enough oomph on the run blocking, which tends to be the problem with the Miami Dolphins for the past decade. It feels like.
I feel like I've been bashing the old line, but on that long play to Gesicki, that
was beautiful. And that just
blocking.
goes to show. If anything, that goes to show
They
you
have-
give
they
Tua
have
enough.
talent.
If you
they
give
have
Tua enough time to throw the football, he is going to make some beautiful throws. That is what we have to look forward to.
Yep.
It's just that we gotta fix the blocking problem, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna do it, but it needs to be fixed somehow.
Yeah. I mean, by all means, it's going to probably have to be the O-line getting more playing time together. They're going to have to gel, whether they decide on Liam playing left guard or right tackle, whatever it may be. But they kind of have to do it quickly because we have, the first preseason, and I think we're back right now. So,
yeah, so we're going to get right back to it. So, again, when commercials are on, we can talk. When commercials are off, we got to turn back off. But we have the scoreboard there for you guys so you can get the play-by-play. And we'll be right back with you. We're set.
I mean, we should be good. Everything should be working.
All right,
swimmingly
here we go.
right now.
All right, so we are back, and hopefully the audio is working properly now. So it's very obvious that there is a stark difference in how the offense is functioning. Whenever they're throwing the football with Tua in command, everything seems to be moving pretty darn smoothly. Mike Gesicki, Mac Hollins, some of his favorite targets so far. And whenever they try to run the football, it absolutely collapses, and it's unequivocally the worst thing I've seen in a long time. It's amazing the stark difference between dealing with a pass and a run play with this offense right now.
I mean, just to give some positive to Tua, bro. Tua looks good.
Tua looks amazing considering the circumstances.
On that third play where he got that conversion with Gesicki, like you saw him already looking at flow, like we're gonna go for it on fourth down. You're seeing him confident. You're seeing him out there like a leader, bro. Like you're seeing players look up to him and say, you know, what are we doing? What's going on? And he just looks comfortable out there for me.
And that's the beauty of it right now, is that we're actually getting to see the Tua that we were hoping we would get to see last season. It's amazing what an off season of work can do, what getting an idea of how you can function with your wide receivers. And let me tell you something. Mac Hollins right now is making a case that he not only belongs on the roster, that he should be considered one of them starter kind of players. Like, honestly, and this may sound crazy, but bear with me one moment. If there was a player that we could probably say is expendable right now because of Mac Hollins, I would say see if you can get a trade for Devontae Parker. Just the way that I'm seeing him perform right now, the rapport that he has with Tua. Hollins is a bigger dude, just like Parker.
Yeah, for sure. I think I wouldn't want to get rid of talent right now. I'd be more. The thing
is, we have so much talent at wide receiver as it is. Like, you're not going to be able to keep everybody. You just can't.
No, for sure, 100%. But for me, I would want to keep Hollins more for special teams, because as good as he is on the offensive side of the ball, the guy is elite as a gunner, man. And we're going to need players to fill those roles. And as much as we like him on offense, I like him even more on special teams.
I guess but that's the thing, is who do you keep then? Because there's only so many slots on the roster. Yeah. That's the problem that I have. And if you want to keep Hollins, again, you only have so many guys. So you already know for sure Will Fuller. You're going to say you're keeping Parker, so Devontae Parker. Waddle. You're going to keep Jalen Waddle. You're going to keep Albert Wilson. Yes. You're going to keep probably Preston Williams as soon as he gets off the PUP list, because we know they love Preston Williams like nothing else.
I don't know if he would count towards the roster, though, if he's on
but on the PUP, he doesn't count, as he's not on the roster. Yeah. But all right, so we're going to go ahead and we're getting back to it. So stay tuned. We will return.
Oh, these are right.
Okay, so we're back, and well, that was almost a thing of beauty. Almost, but almost only counts in what? Horseshoes and hand grenades. So,
Yeah, okay, I like it.
Tua
so-
gets picked off in the end zone, going to Mike Gesicki.
We're gonna try to be the positive patties
We'll try,
of
but-
social media, right? Because right now it's not really that positive. But again, we talked about practice being that time where you go ahead and you try to stretch your limits. You see what you can or cannot get away with. Preseason to me is an extension of that as well. You try to see, can I get it in there? Can I fit it in there? If you can't, all right, cool. We're not going to try that in the regular season when it counts. But right now, I'm not going to be mad about an interception going into the end zone.
No, I can't be mad about it. It's just that I like that he took the shot. It's just that it doesn't. That's kind of. I'm gonna say this. It's almost like if it had been Ryan Fitzpatrick who threw that ball, we would have been chewing him up right now. True or false?
Say that again.
If Ryan Fitzpatrick had thrown that pass into the end zone in double coverage to Gesicki, we would have been chewing him alive.
I would probably expect that more from Fitzpatrick than Tua, to be honest. I guess you could say that.
Okay, so again, that's what you're getting. If you want Tua to be more aggressive, you're going to get some plays like that. If you want him to remain more careful about his throws, well, you're not going to get as much exciting, but you might be a little safer. Maybe there was another option somewhere that he could have gone to. Again, and I'm going to say this only because I feel like this is something that Dolphins quarterbacks have tended not to do over recent seasons, even though they can. I want to see Tua be willing to use his legs. Like that quick toss to Gaskin, Tua already had open field ahead of him. He could have just slid down and gotten more yards himself than doing that toss to Gaskin. It's like, oh yeah, I have to catch the ball, turn around, and then get in there and then run forward again. So I want him to be more willing to use his legs. Like double coverage right there. Oh, that was to Adam Shaheen, not Gesicki. So, but either way, it was late to get there. So, again, this is why we needed the preseason for Tua, is to get him more acclimated to what's going on. So, game is back on. We will return. So, stand by. Yes, I can. All righty, and we are back. So one more time, just because what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and not come back until halftime, but stay tuned on this particular channel. We will come back to this during halftime to give a quick little report, a rundown of everything that we've seen so far. So you just saw right there, Dolphins defense continuing to harass the Bears offense. Justin Fields coming in made absolutely no difference. Jerome Baker's all over the place. Christian Wilkins, Adam Butler, that whole defensive unit is basic. And that's and mind you, the corners are not even who we're supposed to have. Xavier Howard is not playing. Byron Jones is not playing.
All of them are balling.
There's really is a feeling of you have something to be excited about this year, because now all of a sudden you have all these players. They all have incredible level of talent, and now it's like you almost feel like there's not enough spaces on the roster to fill everybody. Like we always
that's a good
feel
problem to have. That's problems that good teams have, though, where you feel like, damn, I don't want to cut this guy because he's good, but you have other guys that are deserving or sometimes more deserving. But
exactly.
It's like we're saying, it's just a good problem to have.
Right. So now we're just kind of figuring this whole thing out. So now Justin Fields, he's obviously showing he's got some speed to him. Like if he had, I'm wondering if he's going to try to figure out, maybe I can beat the Dolphins the way they used to get beat, was I'll just use my legs, because everybody knows how much the Dolphins have hated running quarterbacks in the past.
And Brissett is officially in.
So I'm hoping that we're going to get to see more of this as time goes on, because again, as the game progresses, we're going to see less and less starters. Baker's going to come out, Wilkins is going to come out, Butler's going to come out. So we're eventually going to get the likes of like Tyshawn Render at defensive end. We're going to see Benito Jones. We might even see some Derval Curazneto at guard for the Dolphins. So there's a name that nobody's heard for a while. Because remember him? Remember the international guy that we brought up and technically wasn't even taking a roster spot? He's had his time. He's had his time to develop. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he'll take the left guard spot if push comes to shove. Because obviously we need something as far as the guard position is concerned, because we can't run the football.
We need help on the O-line. Yeah.
All right. So game's back on. Jacoby Brissett is on. So we're going to see you all at halftime. So everybody stay tuned for that.
You also probably don't want to block the mic with the computer.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the halftime portion of this show. We are now joined by Alfredo Arteaga, our resident superstar coaching person who knows everything there is to know about the X's and O's.
That's too much selling for me.
That's too much selling for you? I don't know, man. I listen. I try to learn from you as much as I can because I appreciate what you bring to the network, and I know that everybody else does too. We're back with Juan, and now Kai is joining us from hiding behind here. So we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. The Dolphins are up 13-3. It was an amazing defensive domination performance by Miami. Honestly, there was nothing that they did that didn't work out for them on defense. Christian Wilkins all over the place. You saw Adam Butler, you saw Jerome Baker, Nick Needham with 3 pass deflections all in just one half alone. So poor Justin Fields, poor Andy Dalton, they're like wondering how the heck are we supposed to beat this Dolphins defense?
Yeah, Noah had a pass broken up too as well. You mentioned Wilkins, he had one as well. Alf is big on Needham. I think he's been balling out this game. Coleman is another one that's been kind of flying around too. Our defense has been good, as well as our offense. I think Brissett has been moving the ball well. I don't know what you guys think about him.
Yeah, I think if you're going to find anything wrong with the defensive performance so far, I think you would like to get you would have liked to have had posted a couple of sacks, right? Like you wanted to see something off the edge that would have worked, but it didn't matter. The defense was really, really good the entire half. If he's going to nitpick, talking about Brian Flores and Josh Boyer, if they're going to nitpick, they're not going to be happy about giving up those 3 points right before the half. It was a short field. It was a short drive, and they did give up a 53-yard field goal. So you kind of have to just tip your cap to your opponent and say, okay, you hit a 53-yard field goal, but you kind of wanted to see that goose egg going into the half.
For sure.
Yeah.
But Christian Wilkins, absolutely a star. And one of the earlier drives that had some promise with Andy Dalton, Christian Wilkins forced a hold, which kind of stunted the drive to start it. And Nick Needham has been absolutely perfect all game.
Superstar.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he deserves it. Adam Butler's been really, really good as well. So, yeah, the defense has been nothing less than stellar, really.
And I feel like we need to give credit to these guys because this is without Xavier Howard. This is without Byron Jones, who we all like. We tout them as being like the cornerstone of this defense. Like,
and no Jalen Phillips, who should be playing a lot of snaps this year.
Yeah, and he should be. I honestly wish he would have. I assume that the injury thing is still like they're a little iffy on that. They don't really want him to get in there just yet.
The thing is that we don't know what the injury is. He was running gassers on Sunday, which means that there's nothing wrong with his legs, right?
Yeah.
So what is the injury? He doesn't have a sling on, so there's nothing wrong with his shoulder.
And he was running those gassers too. Like it wasn't like I'm just jogging down. Like he really was running those gassers, and they did 10 straight, right?
Yeah, they did 10 straight. So there's nothing wrong with him physically, I would say. So is he in the concussion protocol? They have to release that. They have to.
They have to release that.
They have to release that.
Okay.
So they haven't, which means who knows what's wrong with Jalen Phillips? Maybe they're just saving his legs.
He's still being concussion protocol now. Like
no, maybe
something happened in OTAs or
maybe he was out for those days in practice because of the concussion. Maybe
right,
but we would have known about it
by now. Yeah,
by now, and they haven't. So you like to see him. So yeah, arrow up on the defense. And I'm pretty sure we could get into the offense right now.
So the offense, obviously, the story of the day is Tua Tagovailoa. We're going to look at this from an objective, actually watching the game standpoint, and not what the numbers are going to tell you, because of that one mistake that he made, throwing the ball late to Adam Shaheen in the end zone. His quarterback rating is now down to like a 57, so it's not going to look good on the box score. But as far as the rest of the game goes, he looked really darn good, had some really good throws. When he had time to throw the football, he made some really good decisions with it. The only thing that knocks him down, and it's going to look bad on the stat sheet when people start writing stories on the national level, is that one pick to Shaheen.
Well, he finished, 8 of 11 for 99 yards? That's 9.9 yards. That 9.9 yards per target, so per attempt. So the numbers are fine. It's just that one play. I thought that was just it was just poor. It was just a bad play all around. We don't know, and I guess Brian Flores will tell us after the game, what he was supposed to look at on that play. But if you watch that play, and if he's looking right down the hash Adam Shaheen slips right past the linebackers, and he's wide open at the 5-yard line. That's a pitch and catch touchdown. At least it should be. The way the play turned out, it looked like he was looking left, then he was looking right, and then he went late over the middle, and now he's throwing into two safeties, and those two safeties are going to converge. One of them actually did and got the ball. So it was just a bad read, a bad play by Tua Tagovailoa. You just got to call it the way you see it. That was just bad. That happens in the regular season. That's something that he has to get on. He has to get on the horn with George Godsey, and George Godsey has to tell him, look, this is like at this level, that's not a play that an NFL quarterback makes.
Right. And I think as time goes on, again, he will get better. But this is why we said at the very start of the pregame show that's why Tua needed to get these preseason snaps in. You can't just throw him out there cold in the regular season and just assume that everything's going to be wonderful. And this is what this time is for.
He had a positive play too. I mean, he had that 50-yard.
Oh no, he had a lot of positive plays. He had a lot of them.
I tweeted it out, but I saw him. There was a third down where he converted to Gesicki. And it looked like maybe they were going to make it into a fourth down, and he was already looking at Flores like, "No, we're going to run it. Like we're running in this fourth down."
No, it was gorgeous. It was beautiful.
So you're seeing him have that confidence, that comfortability to like tell his coach like, "Nah, we're good. We're going to run it. We're going to get the first down, and we're going to keep it pushing." So I'm excited to see what Tua can do in the next couple games.
The real thing that we have to look at as far as from a negative standpoint, and you've been harping on this for a while, Juan, and it's looking like you are very much on the money with that. The offensive line, particularly the running game. And the running game in particular, because pass protection is not too bad, but running the ball, forget it. It's not happening.
Right, but also, like, I think one of the biggest things that's been kind of touted this entire game that we've been talking about, one, obviously Austin Jackson, but it's really been like the tackles. And I mean, again, also like you mentioned, the run game has been pretty poor. It seemed like they kept Tua upright, at least. Like it wasn't.
Listen, when that one throw to Gesicki, he had all day, and that just tells you what Tua's going to be able to do if we can get an offensive line that'll actually protect him.
That's very true. I mean, the problem is that we seem to only be settled in at one spot. I think Dieter handled his job today.
And that's probably the most surprising thing for me, because I was under the assumption that Dieter was playing center starting because Skura was just being bad. I didn't think that it was because, oh, no, wait a minute, Dieter's actually good now.
No, Dieter's actually showing some stuff. I think on that with the interception, he absolutely manhandled his guy. But it is concerning to see our tackles kind of just be, turnstiles. Like it's almost to the point where you start to look around and see, well, what can we do? How do we fix this up? How do we shore this up? Do we put Liam in at right tackle and kind of let Kinley go in at left guard? I think those are the answers that kind of have to get questioned. Questions that need to get answered.
Coleman out for at least like a while with Jacoby, and that wasn't horrible. I mean, Austin Jackson was still getting abused on the left, while Larnell Coleman was kind of holding up, especially on that last touchdown.
And remember, Larnell Coleman, and this is somebody that I said in my article that we needed to keep a close eye on in this game. Coleman is a project, don't get me wrong, 7th round draft pick, but listen, in practice, he's actually been doing pretty darn well. He was the first one to get called up when Jesse Davis went down with an injury at right tackle. He did an okay job. Vince Beagle eventually figured him out, but for a little while there, he was like, okay, no, I'm not going to let you get to my quarterback, and that's something encouraging that we can see for the future. Now, as far as the immediate solution to the problem, then that's where we have to start looking at, okay, what kind of options are there, like you said. So I brought it up, and Alfredo and I kind of went a little bit back and forth on this. The whole idea of signing Mitchell Schwartz, obviously veteran, knows what he's doing. He's coming off an injury, as Alfredo alluded to. The thing is that right now what we need is somebody who's going to be able to do the job for sure. Now, Schwartz, if he's healthy, can definitely get it done. And it's not like if he gets in here that we're going to have him compete for his job. If he gets signed, he's essentially going to be the right tackle. And I'm okay with that. Because with what we saw from Liam Eichenberg, or we've seen from Larnell Coleman and Jesse Davis, I love Jesse Davis as a player. I think he's a fantastic reserve. I don't want him starting at right tackle for me. I just don't.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. One thing I will say is this. The circumstances of how Liam Eichenberg reached the Miami Dolphins is on a trade-up, and it's a guy that they targeted, evidently, from very early on in the draft process. I don't think that you do all of that and you do all of that due diligence to find a left guard, especially when you have Solomon Kinley, who started 13 games last year. That just suggests that you're just throwing guys at the position, hoping that one of them sticks. Solomon Kinley in this game did have some good reps, so he's looked fine, I would say. But I think that the ultimate plan has to be Liam Eichenberg at right tackle. I mean, it's not, then there's a problem there.
Well, Yeah, that's the long-term plan. But
Yeah.
if we're saying that we want to compete for the playoffs this year, that we want to go in there and say that we are a team worthy of
But
possibly
don't you
Super
want him to
Bowl.
get those reps then?
I do, but that's the problem because now it's not a rebuilding year. A rebuilding year, you can make the excuse that says, okay, we're going to let these guys develop. We're going to let them
teams that are
grow.
rebuilding have put out players that aren't completely finished on the
That's true,
offensive
but we
line.
had more. We had more certainty on other parts of the line. Right now,
Well,
we're not certain at left tackle. We're not certain at left guard. We're not certain at right guard. We're not certain at center. So where is the certainty here? That's where I say that the development has to be. Like, we have to pick and choose where we're willing to develop a guy and where we have to say this is our cornerstone of the offensive line. This is who we can count on and say he's going to get the job done. Period.
Yeah, I would agree that the offensive line is absolutely not settled, but there is time. This is the first preseason game. There's 2 more preseason games. There's about 8 more practices. And now we're heading into the second half, so I'm pretty sure that we're going to have to sign off right here, and we will be with you after the game is over right here for a post-game show.
All right, we will see you guys then.